Hello, 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 hello. How's it going, people? Welcome to the stream. Welcome, 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 welcome. Hope everyone's had a fantastic Friday. Tomorrow's Saturday, day off, and everything. So seems fantastic, technically. Realistically, knowing Arsenal and everything, how everything's going surrounding Arsenal, it's not so great. Let's be real. It genuinely is not so great. Whilst everyone else is signing someone at least, Arsenal, of course, are doing nothing. It's all interested, it's all linked, it's all on fire, it's all in love, it's all. I don't know what they're doing. Let's be real. Let's be real. And ultimately, Arsenal are linked with the same players still to this day, and it's still going on until this day, and it looks like it could drag on for quite some time, to say the least. So that is a big worry. Obviously, knowing Arsenal, how they do business and how it gets dragged out, with Andrea Berta coming in, there was hope that it would actually be resolved quicker, many transfer deals and everything, but it's not. It's genuinely not, because it doesn't matter, I guess, who's in charge. The things are going the same pace, the same situation, same regard and everything. So it is ultimately, well, a shit show. Let's be real. It ultimately is a shit show still to this day. Let's not kid ourselves, because it's the same story, different toilet, same different day, same shit, different toilet, all this kind of stuff. So before we get into things, all of it, Sesko, Gyökeres, Bimendi, Zinchenko, everyone else, Fabio Vieira even, by the way, smash the like button. Please do. Please do it. Arsenal are depressing me as it is. Please maybe do me some favors and maybe make me a bit happier. It also spreads the word around. Maybe more people will come in and share their opinions regarding the transfers, regarding the transfer business and all that stuff. On top of that, subscribe if you're new around here, aiming for 1K, and road to 1K is going strong. And of course, leave your thoughts down in the live chat so we can tackle them, we can discuss them, and we can do all that good stuff. StreamYard today is working, but it's still acting up a bit, but it is what it is. Big up Mubarak, big up between Sporting's president and agent, which side leading the chaos. It's chaos no matter how you look at it. It's chaos from Sporting, it's chaos from Gyökeres, chaos from president, chaos from the player, agent, whoever you want to look at it. And of course, somewhere in between, Arsenal are also involved. That is the sad part into everything, because Andrea Berta allegedly likes to do deals in a fashion where he has two targets acquired, basically, nearly done, and then he decides which one, or arguably the manager decides who we want. And if that is the case, like, we all know that Mikel Arteta is going to pick Sesko, so what's the point dealing with Gyökeres? On the other hand, of course, we all know that, Berta wants Gyökeres, so that is a bit interesting. Unless Berta has some weird power to overrule Mikel Arteta on the final decision at the end of the day, nothing is going to change. Like, what's the point? If Arteta wants Sesko so bad, then just focus on Sesko and get the deal done. Why drag it out for about 65,000 years? That, for me, is the biggest question. Yeah, Marlon, it is. It's Linked FC, all like Interested FC, on Fire FC, and all this stuff. I'm not going to lie. It's starting to get on the nerves. Zinni, we can get at least 20 to 30 million. You would think so. The biggest issue is the salary. We have put him on 150 grand a week. And despite the fact that AC Milan are interested, they maybe want him or maybe not. According to reports, they want him. They're preparing bids and all this stuff. Wages are the biggest issue, no matter how you look at it. And AC Milan are not willing to pay that much. So will it be decreased value just because of the salary? We will see. Will Zinchenko leave in general? Also, we have to wait, sit tight and see, because for now, it's not looking great. Genuinely, it is not looking great. I'm not gonna lie. Yeah, Liverpool are cooking with gas fully. Wirtz announced today, pretty much, and it's gonna happen and everything. It's scary. I'm not gonna lie. Arsenal is the only team that you would think should be challenging for the title, and Arsenal are the only team doing nothing. Because if you look at City, they have signed this year alone 8 players, starting from January to this point forward. If you look solely to summer, they have signed 4. Liverpool have signed 3, and they have signed massive ones. They have addressed all their major issues, creativity with Wirtz and both wingbacks. And that is also boring, because if you look at Arsenal, we need to fix much, much more than those teams need to fix in their squad. And Arsenal haven't done anything. They haven't announced whether you want him or not. Depends. Kepa. They haven't announced Zubimendi, but that deal has been done since January, pretty much, as it got told by Sam Mokbel and all these lot. Then you have the Sesko stuff. Then you have Gyökeres stuff. And what's going to happen with left wing, God knows. Because Rodrigo, we are sitting patiently and waiting and praying, basically. It's hopium to the maximum extent. Then you look at Nico Williams, who apparently wouldn't mind going to Bayern Munich, apparently, according to latest reports. And yeah, I don't know what's going on. I seriously don't know what is going on. It's actually kind of nuts. Big up YouTube Senses. Big up, big up, big up. Now Liverpool are chasing Osimhen. Yeah, I read that today. Liverpool are looking at Osimhen as well. And if they manage to get him as well, you might as well wrap it up. Arsenal are not going to win the league whatsoever. Even if you had 1% hope that Arsenal are going to win the league, if Liverpool get Osimhen, you might as well wrap it up. Because you pretty much know that Pep is going to be up there. Knowing him, knowing his mentality and everything. You know that Liverpool are going to go for a two-peat and they're going to try and win the Champions League no matter what. And Arsenal, of course, well, it's actually embarrassing. Let's be real. So for the so-called third biggest, and not the biggest team in England, successful trophy-wise and everything, it's quite pathetic, the business we are doing. Well, not doing at all. That is the biggest issue. I can see Arsenal buying 3 more defenders, 2 more midfield players. You think Arsenal are going to buy 5 players this summer? Dude, you are very optimistic, because my best bet is we're going to sign 3 and the one is going to be a loan. And given how we are moving so far in the transfer window, 2 weeks in, like, I don't even know what to say, what to think, or anything. I'm not going to lie. So it's beyond ridiculous. That's an understatement and a half. Let's be real. Man, we are cooked next season. We can't get on. We're gonna get owned by Turkey and Rangers with overlapping 8 Nori. Let's be real. Man City are also looking apparently at Livramento still. They are still looking for the right back option to replace Kyle Walker. And let's be real as well. Nunez is definitely not gonna play there. What's its face? Rico Lewis is not doing the job. So they're definitely going to sign the right back as well. I have a very strong feeling that Man City are not done in this window. And I think Liverpool are not as well. Liverpool's biggest thing is they had some money to spend. They have spent it now. And I think some other signings could be sell to buy type of situation. But they have assets to sell. Joe Gomez, Kwanzaa, it looking like they might leave potentially. Harvey Elliott wants to have a starting role, so he might leave as well. There is obviously still talks about selling Darwin Nunez, selling the Luis Diaz. And if they manage to do that as well, oh my goodness gracious. You genuinely, the world can be only their oyster, to say the least. Let's just put it that way. Challengers FC, we are not going to even challenge next season at this pace. Nunez ain't no right back. He's exactly. But he played there at right back under Pep for last season for a while. And then they tried Rico Lewis since Kyle Walker got loaned out to AC Milan, and it's actually kind of nuts. Liverpool just warming up Chelsea too. And Spurs as well, linked with Mbuemo. Like that is the nuts part. And now, just randomly, since top Gooners and all these Arteta sexuals like these what-if scenarios, what if we score that, what if we don't get a red card, what if he doesn't get injured? Think about it from the other side. What if Thomas Frank, in his first official game, which most likely is going to be the not Club World Cup, the Europa Super Cup, where they're going to face PSG, in some weird way, in some weird goddamn miracle way, they actually managed to beat PSG. What we gonna do then? What Arsenal are gonna do? You know, we're not gonna hear the end of it at the end of the day. We genuinely are not gonna hear the end of it. And that is what's even more worrying, because then Spurs in span of a few months will have won 2 trophies in Europe, and Arsenal still will be sitting with, well, nothing, with collecting dust from 21 years ago. Like think about it that way. It's actually kind of nuts if you come to think of it. Like, legitimately, if you come to think of it, it's very, very, very big, scary hours, to say the least. But of course, one of the biggest issues at Arsenal in terms of sagas and everything currently, what's happening, is Victor Gyökeres. There's no argument about that. Nobody knows what's going on with that one. So, let's see. These are the latest news regarding Victor Gyökeres. It's according to Dean James, so it is what it is, but we're just going to talk about it. Basically, the first thing to do is to clarify Victor Gyökeres' exit price with Sporting after the issues with Federico Varandas. Arsenal are in constant contact with Gyökeres' people. That's according to Fabrizio Romano, which at the end of the day, Fabrizio, it is what it is. That's more trustworthy than most ITKs you get on the socials, let's be real. But the fact is, all this time we got told that Gyökeres has this release clauses, then Sporting would accept less and everything. They have gentleman's agreement. But based on these reports specifically, it looks like they don't even know what the actual asking price is. Like, that is the nuts part and everything. That is what's making it even more insane. That's what's causing this chaos. Obviously, the off-field stuff between the president, agent, and Gyökeres is another thing, right? But the fact that they genuinely don't know even the price, that is even more worrying, because it could come to a point where at the end of the day, Gyökeres is the same price, if not even more expensive than Sesko. And we all know that RB Leipzig won about 70-80 million for Sesko, and Gyökeres could climb up to the same price. Like, and this is now the biggest issue. One day we hear there are contacts, other day there are bids, then the agents are somewhere meeting with Cronkies or whatever. Now all of a sudden the exit price is a big issue because it hasn't been actually set. Like, make it make sense. Genuinely make it make sense, because from my point of view, from the outsider looking in, it's like there is miscommunication, there are disagreements, someone has broken their trust, someone has broken an agreement, and now it has come to a point that I want this price, I want that price, you promised me that price, and now Arsenal are caught kind of in between crossfires, and they don't know what to offer at the end of the day. Because they might offer the asking price, which was they had, for example, the gentleman's agreement on about 59, 60, maybe 65 million pounds, right? They might offer that. But if Sporting's president has gone back on his word, it's going to be the 97. And now Arsenal are just sitting here and in confusion. And people say this might be a smokescreen, this might be this might be that. Well, we focus actually on Sesko at the same time. It also could be it could go from the other way. Like, people are saying Berta wants to get these both things done to a certain position where basically you just need to say yes, and one of the players joins Arsenal. It could also be that. Then there are some weird top Gooners who are saying that Liverpool signing Wirtz has absolutely ruined the market, which is quite preposterous in my opinion, and very, I'm not gonna lie, stupid, saying that Wirtz going to Liverpool for 100 and whatever the 25, 135 million or whatever the price was, right, has ruined the market. And now Leipzig are wanting is increasingly an insanely high amount, the full amount. Like, it doesn't make any sense. It genuinely makes no sense. And that's why this is getting on Arsenal fans' nerves. It's getting on my nerves. And when I sit here every day and I talk about Sesko, I talk about Gyökeres and all these players, at the end of the day, we just do this to try and put the pieces of the puzzle together to figure out what is actually going on. But actually, let's be real. Nobody has any goddamn clue what is happening. Maybe Gyökeres' agent has, maybe Sporting's president has, maybe Arsenal do. But besides that, nobody has any goddamn idea what the hell is going on at this club. Not at this club, in this situation. That's at least how I see it. Because the mysteries, the uncertainty, the mixed reports that are contradicting each other as the hours go by, pretty much, it's actually quite insane. You can lose your mind if you try to track this just point by point. And now it's getting to a point where I'm like sitting here looking at this and thinking, well, okay, cool. Price was that, price is this. Arsenal wanted this, Arteta wants this, Berta wants that. But at the end of the day, nothing's happening. Because ultimately, every single day we get the same report, more or less. Few words change, so it sounds a bit nastier, a bit more different. But ultimately, it has the same underlining thought and the underlining thought process behind everything. Like, I just don't know. I genuinely don't know. Like, it used to be somewhat straightforward. But with Arsenal, somehow it has never been so straightforward whatsoever. And now, if I look, for example, at Man City, right? They have signed Reinders, Ait Nouri, Cherky, and these players, and I look at them and think, that's a proper club. They're doing proper business. And the most nuts part into all of this, what other clubs are doing, like Liverpool and everyone else. There were no issues. Nobody tried to swoop and steal the deal. And why nobody else was in for those players? Because it looks like they had pretty much straightforward run. Like City had for Reindeer, City had for Cherky, more or less, let's be real. For Ait Nouri, Liverpool had for Wirtz, okay, different story, the price tag and everything. But if we talk about Frimpong, if we talk about Gyökeres, again, nobody else was in. It was a pretty much straightforward deal, and there were no issues. Now, Arsenal start doing business, or at least trying to do business. All of a sudden, all world starts to crumble. Everything is shaking. It's like a natural disaster has just happened. And nobody knows what the hell is going on. Like, that is the most insane part when you are an Arsenal fan and you follows these things. I give up at this point. Like, basically, that's what it is. Because you have to do all these mental hurdles every single day. And when you read something, you think it over, you try to make some sense of it. It doesn't make sense. Then you hear another report which is contradicting the first report. Then that other report is starting to maybe make some sort of sense if you compare to something you heard over the days. But then again, a few hours later, another report comes out which completely annihilates everything you have read overall in the first and the second report. And then you sit there and think, like, make it make sense. What the hell is actually going on with these deals? Because I genuinely can guarantee you nobody has any goddamn clue at the end of the day. And that's what's the nuts part. That's what's really, really frustrating. And that is only happening to Arsenal, which is the even more insane bit. I'm not gonna lie. Anyways, let's move on, because I'm like, this is starting to be hella pissing me off. I'm not these deals regarding Sesko and Gyökeres and everything, because it's kind of nuts. Because we just talked about that there is no idea what is happening with Gyökeres, right? You just saw there is no idea about the price, no idea what the actual F is going on, how everything is developing, right? And all this stuff. Yesterday we heard about the first bid, and then you hear this from Mayonnaise Football or whatever that is, the Portuguese site. Like, and then you hear this: Arsenal are preparing another bid, a second bid, apparently out of nowhere. The London club is ready to exceed 70 million euros now to secure the service of the Swedish striker. All of a sudden, what was the point then in the first place to report the first news? Because yesterday it was, we offered 50 million plus 10 million add-ons. It combines to 60 million. Few hours later, obviously it gets rejected. Then you hear there is turmoil between Gyökeres, his agent, the president, the club, and everything. Few hours pass. All of a sudden, Arsenal are going in with the second bid. Like, I realize that Arsenal are trying to make the best out of this situation while everything is basically up in the air. They're maybe trying to strike the deal, but go figure. Like, seriously, go figure. This is not how a proper club acts. This is not how Arsenal's football club should be acting. They should be going in there and saying, well, yeah, it is what it is. Situation is this and that. Whether you want to involve yourself into this mess, it's up to you. If you want to, then actually make a proper bid so everyone calms down instantly. Or you just say, no, thank you, and you just go for the other option. That, for me, stands very logical, because we're going to waste time now trying to get these deals sorted out to a certain extent. Then we're going to waste time trying to get Sesko deals sorted out to a certain extent. That is going to take at least till mid-July, which is about in a month only. And then we're going to decide, well, might be this. And yes, we're going to go with this one. Who? Nobody knows. And the worst part is, if both of these deals flatline, we're going to go for Watkins, apparently. Again, Watkins. I would be okay with Watkins if we signed him in January. But for summer signing, it's not enough. It's not it. We need somebody else. We need someone better. And I'm going to be 100 with you. If we even signed Watkins in January, I would demand another striker right now. And you just know that Arsenal would not have gone into the market for a striker if we signed one in January as well. Like, that's the most frustrating part, because we did not get linked to any attackers, any forwards in January until Bukayo Saka went down. That is the most insane thing, because Jesus got injured and everything was dead quiet. Saka got injured. Instantly, we are going in for a striker. After January window, we hear that we actually didn't go for Watkins. He got offered to us. It's not like we went for him. He got offered to us. And then on top of that, you hear that Arsenal actually were not going for a striker until Bukayo Saka got his injury. Like, make some bloody sense. How this club thinks, how this club operates. Because it's doing everything straight opposite of what logic would dictate you to do in those type of situations. And then people say, oh, you're so negative, you're so toxic, just have faith, be patient. For what? Seeing the same thing over and over and over again. That's generally the definition of insanity, doing the same thing over and over and expecting different results. I'm kind of surprised I haven't gone insane year in, year out, listening to this, reading this, following this. Oh, but what's the point? Don't follow them. But I can't. I'm an Arsenal fan. I want to know what's happening with my club. I want to know what we're going to do to rectify the piss take we saw a year ago in summer market, the embarrassment we saw in January markets, like pretty much consistently we see, and now we are in this mess. Like, what the actual hell is going on? Like, I want to make some sense of it, but Arsenal are doing their best not to make any sense whatsoever. Nicholas Jackson is coming. Oh, bloody hell. Please don't do this to me. Big up Greenland, but please don't do this to me. Because I know, for me, it's a running joke. Like, Arsenal are going to fluff this so badly that on deadline day, they're going to go for Darwin Nunez and Alejandro Garnacho. But, you know, when you look how Arsenal are doing business, we have signed Havertz, we have signed Sterling, we have signed Cedric and players like that, Willian. Would you even be surprised if that happened? Like, seriously, would you even be surprised if on deadline day something like that happened? I wouldn't. Because this is what Arsenal do. And then for me, is the biggest question is, what the hell was the point of Andrea Berta coming in? Because if we still drag these deals out, we cannot get them over the line efficiently and quickly compared to other clubs. And when you add on top of that how much we are struggling with these situations, what was the point? Like, what was the point of Andrea Berta coming in then? Because at the moment, it makes no sense whatsoever. Like, I don't know. It genuinely is frustrating. It's utter piss take. And let's be real, Arsenal fans 100% deserve better. Arsenal fans do deserve better. But it doesn't look like the club cares. Genuinely doesn't look like the club cares, which is the most painful thing you can have as an Arsenal fan. I'm not gonna lie, which is one of the most painful things whatsoever. Anyways, but the pain doesn't stop. The pain genuinely doesn't stop. Look what Arsenal are putting out. Arsenal fans, top Gooners, and all this crap. Look at this. I get the shirts and everything, but do you have to put such a caption on it? Like, Thomas Partey training in a gym in the new sexy Jorginho Flamengo kit. Why you have to be so zesty? Why you cannot put just Thomas Partey is training in the new Flamenco Jorginho kit? Why you have to add the extra words and then you add crying emoji, then you add brothers forever? Like it's some sort of a Fast and Furious type of situation with everyone else, and then heart emoji. Why you have to do it over the top always? That for Arsenal fan base is one of the biggest illnesses in general. They always want to make something, and when they do it, they don't know the boundaries. They always make it over the top. Always, without any hesitation. When there is a chance, they're going to take it. That is the nuts part. That genuinely is the nuts part. Like, what are we doing here? Still the transfer window, have much time left, no panic yet. No panic yet? We haven't signed anyone proper in 2 years, no panic? We had a chance to go last summer to do proper business. We did nothing pretty much. We had a chance to actually finishing 2 points behind City to make a statement. That last season that just finished was the season for us to do the proper business and go for the league. And of course, we squandered the opportunity and made ourselves a laughingstock. And looking at how other teams are doing the business, the window is closed. And I don't talk about transfer window. I'm talking about winning the league window. Because to basically fix this mess Arsenal have caused for themselves in over all these windows, you need like 3 more windows to fix that. And they are never going to do it. Let's be real. They're going to do, as always, the bare minimum to keep us in top 4. Because at this current pace, we'll be lucky to finish in top 4. Oh, we have a good team and everything and this and that. But think about it. Chelsea finished 5 points behind us. Newcastle finished 5-6 points behind us. And we all know that Chelsea can spend about 300-400 million without selling anyone in general. Newcastle haven't spent in how many years, and they can go in the market with their money bags and just drop it on the table and take whoever they want pretty much. We have basically done everything to allow other teams to catch us up and to even overtake us to some certain extent. This team is built to be in prime position when City has a fall-off to win the league. Well, City had a fall-off. And Arne Slot came from Eredivisie in his first season without any signings whatsoever. And won the league, walked the league, by the way, and left Arsenal in the dust. What no panic? There's always panic when we talk about Arsenal. Because you just know they're never going to do what's necessary to get the job done. They're going to half-ass it somehow, just so look like they tried. Everyone will gas it up like this is the best thing since sliced bread. You just know top Gooners will give 7 out of 10 window, even if we sign, God knows, another Kim Kallström, another Edin Ketty and stuff like that. But at the end of the day, what's going to happen? As always, we're going to fall up short. And if we finish this next season without any trophies again, for Arteta, he will have gone 1 in 26. He will have had 26 obtainable trophies over his tenure at Arsenal, and he will have won just one, the first one. COVID Cup, as people regard. But that doesn't matter. Let's be real. Trophy is a trophy. At the same time, it was toxic and negative squad. The hell it was. Because he has built now the lovey-dovey team, marshmallows, weaklings with no spine, and now we cannot do anything. Trust the process. Only process I am trusting is sacking the manager, sacking the hierarchy, and getting this ownership out. Those are only 3 processes I trust at this moment. Until this manager, this ownership, and this hierarchy proves me wrong, signs the necessary players, wins me trophies, I don't give a damn about any process. Arne Slot didn't need a process. Wrexham manager doesn't need a process. 3 promotions in a row. René Slegers, our women's team manager, doesn't need a process. In half a year, he joined Arsenal's women's team, wasn't in term, then got signed full-time, and won the Champions League. In first 8 months, and they are already preparing to try and repeat that next season, and everything. What trust the process is here? It's been 5 years of trust the process, and we have fuck all to show for it. Inflated wages, mediocre players who are good enough maybe for mid-table, lower-end sides, not Arsenal, not a team that's going for a title. And so on top of that, we think, as Arsenal Football Club, that players who are not good enough for Man City, for Chelsea, to win trophies, they somehow are going to do it for us. 8 or 9, at the moment, 8 out of 32 players Mikel Arteta has signed at this club have been Chelsea or City rejects. 25% of the players. And look at them. Willian, Sterling, Pablo Mari, Jorginho, Zinchenko, Jesus, Kai Havertz. And it looks like it could be 9 out of 33 in Kepa Arrizabalaga. 4th choice keeper for Chelsea, got loaned out to Bournemouth. Those players are not good enough for them to win the league. Oh, but they will be good enough for Arsenal to win the league. Are you serious? David Luiz was before Mikel Arteta, I think. Or was David Luiz during Mikel Arteta? Because I think it was David Luiz during Mikel Arteta's time? I genuinely thought David Luiz was before that. I think David Luiz was signed by Emery, wasn't he? Wait. Yeah, Unai Emery signed David Luiz. I'm talking just about Mikel Arteta. He has signed 8 out of 32 players. 25%. It's true that Sporting can accept an offer between... It should be true, because that's what reports are trying to push on us with the narratives. Do you believe those narratives? Do you believe the ITKs, the social media, what they're trying to pump out day in, day out? Like, and doing it just for clicks? Do you trust them? Because first it was 90 million, then it was 59, now it's 70, something like that. Arsenal offered just 60 million, 50 plus 10 in add-ons. It got rejected. Apparently, Arsenal are going in the second bid about 70 million. Will it happen? Is it true? You cannot trust anyone these days. TK yesterday was in the chat. Big up TK. He said, what is the truth? Where is the truth? And where is the truth? Like, seriously. Because in transfer windows and with media in general, it is a very, very vague line. They say follow the truth. But at the end of the day, how do you know that the things you follow are the truth? Like, it's actually insane. Sporting have given Gyökeres the assurance that he will be allowed to leave in the summer for 60 to 70 million. Where? Where is that guaranteed? Like, they gave him the assurance. But now we are hearing that they don't want that anymore. Sporting manager is saying, Sporting president is saying that, well, it's not going to happen pretty much. Gentleman's agreement means nothing right now. And you go figure. Like, seriously, go figure who you can believe. Like, they say these gentlemen's agreements and all this crap, but at the end of the day, until he holds up an Arsenal shirt, until I hear, here we go, or something like that, or Ornstein says the deal is done, can you trust that? Like, seriously, can you actually trust that? That is the biggest issue here. That is the biggest issue right here and right now. But I thought Arsenal was in for Sesko. Why change in direction? I don't work for Arsenal because we hear that Arteta wants Sesko, Berta wants Gyökeres, right? We hear that. Then we hear that Berta likes to do multiple deals at once for the same position, for the multiple targets. So when it gets to a certain point, they can pick who they actually want, and to that player push the yes button, right? Then all of a sudden, one day we hear that Sesko deal has hit a roadblock, and it might not happen unless it gets resolved by June 15th. The very few hours later, Arsenal put in bid for Gyökeres. Then, when that bid gets rejected, and this is what I read today, I kid you not, I read that today about Benjamin Sesko. Where is it? I'm going to find it for you. Apparently, Arsenal make a major breakthrough in terms of signing Benjamin Sesko all of a sudden? Like, seriously, apparently Arsenal make a major breakthrough. Sources close to the deal have disclosed to Football Transfers that there has been a significant progress all of a sudden on the transfer fee. And therefore, an official bid from Arsenal expected next week. All of a sudden, out of nowhere, this comes out. Just as we put in bid for Gyökeres, we hear that there is a roadblock in Sesko deal. It gets rejected, the Gyökeres deal. All of a sudden, there's a breakthrough in Sesko deal. All of a sudden. Like, it looks like they're playing mind games. And unfortunately, Arsenal are losing in these mind games. They have created the games, but they're losing it. They're losing in their own game. That's what it looks like. Our rivals are signing proper players while Arsenal are moving like a small team. Exactly. And it's been like that every single goddamn season. While you look at other teams, they sign big players. Prime examples this summer, last summer, they signed Sesko. One signs, not Sesko, sorry. One signs Vert. Someone else signs Haaland. Because Arsenal buying Zinchenko and Jesus from City funded them signing Haaland to the full extent, by the way. And it goes like that. Arsenal are always like that. We never go poach smaller teams' best players. Never. Pretty much, actually never. Oh, we signed Declan Rice. It was evident that he was going. And if we didn't overpay massively compared to City, and in general didn't overpay for Rice, he would have gone to City. Like, think about it that way as well. Like, what are we doing here? Arsenal never do the things that are necessary. Arteta wants to preach every window. We are going for opportunities. We are looking for amazing deals. Last summer, Tony was 38 million, 40 million, didn't sign him. Dovbyk was 30 million, didn't sign him. Sorloth was 25 million, didn't sign him. Girassi was 18 million, didn't sign him. We didn't sign a striker. And it's the same things that go around in a circle, same shit, different toilet, as I say. It never changes. And then you sit here, you look what Arsenal are doing. And then you look at other teams. City are signing Reinders. Liverpool signed Wirtz, Kerkez, Frimpong this summer. Man United have signed Mateusz Cunha. Buemo might be going to United or Spurs. Chelsea have signed Delap and everything. Only team that haven't signed anyone is Arsenal at the end of the day. Yeah, we missed out on Marmoush. We missed out on Kvaratskhelia. Oh, we want to make the best deals, and we never signed these. Big up Marcano, big up. Here we go again. Like, unfortunately, it is what it is. It's in Arsenal's DNA, willingly, unwillingly, but it's always like that. I'm still waiting for the war chest from 2011 that God promised us. Still haven't seen it. One window, haven't seen it. The war chest of 250 million or something like that. Still waiting on it. Still haven't seen it. Arsenal will end up signing Danny Ings. Oh, bloody hell. Like, seriously, bloody freaking hell. If we sign Danny Ings, that actually is going to be insane. My camera is out of focus. I'm very sorry. Camera doesn't want to focus. You bastard. Give me a second. Give me a second here. Here we go. But yeah, like, it's always like that. It's always like that. And now there are strikers on the market. We can still sign the strikers we missed out on last season, for example. Yes, they will cost a bit more, but there's still an opportunity to sign them. Last summer, I would have loved for us to sign Tony, Dovbyk, Girassi. People laughed at me when I said we should go for Girassi, maybe Boniface, maybe to experiment. He was an opportunity. Sorloth. People laughed at me. They said I was stupid. And we didn't sign anyone instead. Didn't sign. We signed the number 6 who now is playing us as a striker. Like, makes no sense. We need to make a serious bid, at least 80 million add-on FC. Yeah, we need to make an 80 million bid, serious one. But not for Sesko, in my opinion. We should make the 80 million bid for Rodrigo. And then we can go for Gyökeres or Sesko. Because, yes, we need a striker. I totally get that. That should be one of the main, if not the main priority. But there isn't an 80 million striker at the market. The values are so inflated that even above average players are considered world-class these days, or very good. And there isn't an 80 million striker in the market. It's just the fact that this striker market of the players that are in the limelight by media specifically are so expensive due to whatever, the hype. It's actually insane. It's actually insane. Is Sesko an 80 million striker? No, he isn't. Is Gyökeres an 80 million striker? Stronger case, but no, he isn't. Like, if you look at things objectively, only players that should be worth 80 and above should be some on the verge of being world class. I would pay 80 million for some big strikers, not these ones. Like, I don't know. It's actually kind of nuts about Arsenal. Yeah, this is what Arsenal do to me. No focus. Yeah, even Cameron is crashing out. It also is fed up with this Arsenal crap. That is actually insane. Big up, Darren. Big up. Yeah, big up. Just getting in from DG Live. Yeah, the Luden Gooners stream with Aaron and everyone else who was on there. I didn't catch it all. I just I caught a part of it. But it was actually kind of not. It was kind of nice to look at. It was kind of nice watch. I'm not gonna lie. It was kind of very, very nice watch. Anyways, moving on. Moving a bit on. According to Gazzetta d'Italia, AC Milan are lining up a double move for Arsenal duo Alexander Zinchenko and Jakub Kiwior. This is apparently double move AC Milan are planning to do, allegedly. Will it happen or not? Of course, nobody knows. But AC Milan have genuinely screwed up their whole season by not finishing in top 6 whatsoever. They have no Champions League, no Europa League, no Conference League, nothing. Hence why it looks like Theo Hernandez might leave. They're more willing to sell Rafael, for example, and players like that. But they need improvements defensively. They need improvements in midfield as well. And it looks like they might find a solution. I think that Zinchenko deal is more based on the fact that if Theo Hernandez leaves, or Lucas Hernandez, sorry, I think that is more based on those premises. But let's be real, Zinchenko is a midfielder. It shouldn't affect the deal whatsoever. He can play there, but it's not his position. Just like Skelly, he can play as a left back, but Skelly is an 8. Why are you forcing him to play a left back role, for example? For me personally, if they come in with about 50, 60 million bid for both, sell them. Let's just say AC Milan, 60, 65 million for Kiwior and Zinchenko. I am taking that and running away. I'm not going to lie. I'm taking that and running away. Does that make our squad smaller? Yes, it does. Does that make our squad weaker? To a certain extent, yes, it does. But does that also allow us to go in the market and look at other deals and other players to get in there? Not to mention the fact that we actually could sign a proper left back and put Skelly in the midfield. Does that mean we have already a left center back position we can cover potentially with Calafiori, who is more as a center back than a left back? Yes, it does. So it depends how you look at it. And we also should start giving some youth players a chance. Because ultimately, every single youth player that has succeeded currently at Arsenal or is in Arsenal's main team is there by genuine luck and held by fans. Arteta lucked out with Skelly, and he has totally lucked out with Vieira. And Vieira also was pushed the narrative on him by Arsenal fan base. Because when Odegaard was injured, he didn't play. When Saka got injured, he also didn't play. He played Trossard, Havertz there, everyone, Martinelli there, until fanbase started to kick off on social media. Next game, bang, he's playing 30, 40 plus minutes. Like, it's actually insane. It's insane that this club refuses to do what is necessary to actually be at the top, to be the top, and to achieve the top. For Rodrigo, I need a striker that can finish for fun. Can't have Havertz or Jesus up front next season if we want to win anything. Shoehorn FC, yeah. And that is one of the biggest issues with Arteta. Because I'm still very adamant on this, that it doesn't matter who we sign at the end of the day. Unless Mikel Arteta changes his style, his tactics, and his vision, it doesn't matter who we get. We're still going to stink out the place. After 5.5 years, this manager still doesn't know how to beat a low block. Where does that make any sense? Like, seriously. And on top of that, we need a goal. He subs off defender, puts on a defender. He's not even going for it. Very safe, very pragmatic, no risks, nothing whatsoever. Arteta should be gone, let's be real. But at the end of the day, if you look at it, if you think about it, Jesus is out till December, November this year. So that means we are going into a season with Havertz at the moment as our main striker again. And we don't know what kind of Havertz he's going to look. Oh, but he's bulked up and everything. Who cares? Touch is still going to suck. He still won't be able to finish from 2 yards out. Just like what we saw against Manchester United in the FA Cup. Missed from 4 yards out, missed from 2 yards out, and we lost to 10-man Man United at the end of the day. Means nothing. Arsenal just make you depressed, bro. At this point, I just expect failure to avoid disappointment. Well, to some extent, Arsenal make you feel that way. Like, Arsenal are the definition of the fact that expect nothing and be excited if you get something. That's what Arsenal at the moment is to me. You genuinely don't expect them doing nothing, and you get a bit excited if they do something at the end of the day. That's what Arsenal are for me right now. People think is the glass half full or half empty? I look at this as the glass is almost empty. It's not even half empty. It's almost fully empty. Big up, Isak. Hope you're doing well. Arsenal is so disappointing that up to now they have not bought a striker yet. Yeah. Other big teams are busy buying players. Arteta should just leave Arsenal in order to save his coaching career. Fact. Utter and total facts. Let's be real. If you look at any manager who's at the wheel almost at any given team, how they have started their careers. Either they have been a scout or assistant manager or manager at the youth level or a smaller team. As they have grown, progressed, gotten experience and everything, they have gotten a bigger job if they continue to succeed. We have given pretty much a kindergarten graduate a top CEO position. That's what we have done. And people still back this. People genuinely back this situation and this instance to the maximum extent. This manager is so overprotected. As soon as you ask some serious questions, he throws his toys at the pram, storms out of interviews, and ignores the question and everything. Like, it's actually insane. It is actually insane. And the worst part is, speaking about the striker, we haven't bought a striker since Aubameyang left, and that was 3.5 years ago. So you can argue we haven't had a proper striker for 4 years, pretty much. For 4 years, Arsenal Football Club hasn't had a proper striker. A club that was well known for having some notoriously insane strikers. If you look over the years, like Ian Wright, Kevin Campbell, Anelka, Adebayor, Henry, Bergkamp, Van Persie. If you want that, Giroud to the mix. Of course, Aubameyang, latest one. Alexis, when he played at striker. Martinelli is a striker. He played about 15, 20 games at striker, scored about 10, 12 goals from there. But Arteta refuses him to play striker exclusively. It's an Emery signing where he was cooking at striker as well, and we still don't see him playing as a striker. And it's quite interesting that Arteta pretty much has binned every single Emery or Wenger signing from this club. Only two that are left are Martinelli and Saliba. Only two. And ironically enough, Arteta's whole team pretty much are based on Emery signings or promotions. Saka, Martinelli, Saliba. It was Emil Smith-Rowe back in the day. Remember the second season under Mikel Arteta, where Saka and Emil Smith-Rowe single-handedly, those two, saved his ass and his job. And how did he repay them? Saka, okay. How did he repay Emil Smith-Rowe? Put him on the bench, ruined his partially his career. Bang, he's sold. And that's what he does. He uses players when it's very convenient for him, As soon as it gets inconvenient, bang, you're done. He doesn't need you. If in Tottenham are about to sign 3 players, yeah. It looks like Thomas Frank actually might sign Buemo potentially. Let that sink in. Like, isn't that nuts? Imagine 17 plays about to hijack a baller from 15 plays. It sounds funny when you put it that way, right? But at the end of the day, both of those teams have pretty much done more business than Arsenal. They're looking more serious in the market. Spurs have sacked a trophy-winning manager who has won them Europa League, 4th trophy in Europe. United in 15th place lost the Europa League final, have signed Mateusz Cunha. It looks they're still aiming at Gyökeres if it happens. They both are fighting it out for Mbuemo. Still doing better business than Arsenal, who finished 2nd. Like, it doesn't make any sense. It's a total embarrassment. Only London team that hasn't won a trophy in the last 2 years is Wild. Well, obviously, we are not including Fulham in this equation. But since Arsenal won the last trophy, and it was obviously in the FA Cup, how many teams in Premier League have won trophies? Different kinds. City, Liverpool, Newcastle, Leicester, Crystal Palace, Chelsea. 7 teams. 7 or 8 teams since the Arsenal have won the league, the FA Cup, have won some kind of a trophy. And we're not even talking about Chelsea winning Champions League, for example. Crystal Palace has won an FA Cup. Newcastle have won Carabao Cup, first trophy in about 50 odd years. Leicester have won a cup. How does this not bother any of the top Gooners? How does that doesn't bother anyone? And then there you have your Igals and all these guys coming out on podcasts and saying, oh, trophies are overrated. What? Arsenal are who they are because of the trophies we have won. The teams are recognized because of the trophies. Like, what are you waffling about? If Spurs win a trophy again this year and we don't, heads need to roll, dude. Like, 100%. Like, it's actually kind of insane if you think about it. Thomas Frank, first official game under Spurs is gonna be a UEFA Super Cup against PSG. And I'm gonna be honest with you. I am a bit worried. I'm genuinely worried because Spurs will have the signings. They will be rested, new ideas, new manager, different tactics, and everything. Looking at PSG, they will have everything to go on, and they will have Club World Cup and everything, long season, Champions League, rests and everything. It could go either way. It could go either way at the end of the day. That's what's very scary. No heads will roll. Top Gooners will just find new excuses. Yeah, they will. Yeah, you see, the excuse book has to be empty. The issue is you would think so. At some point, you should run out of excuses to keep someone accountable, but it doesn't. Somehow the narrative will change, somehow. The goalposts will get moved, somehow. Right? And at the end of the day, something again is gonna go wrong. That is the biggest issue here. That is the biggest issue. Everything is gonna change. That's what's very, 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 very worrying about this. They will find a way to change the narrative, change the situation, just so it spins when it's convenient for their argument. That's what's very worrying about these situations. Very worrying, to say the least. Because the excuses never run out. Excuses never, ever run out. I don't know. I genuinely don't know. But hey, as long as top Gooners are buying the merch and everything, Cronkies are happy, right? Day 13, and we still don't know what is happening with our signings. Zubik has all disappeared from radar. Yeah, Zubimendi has gone pretty much grave silent at the moment. You can say the same thing about Kepa, by the way. Oh, but Kepa is gonna sign. Nothing since then. 5 million Arsenal are gonna sign. Nothing since then. Gyökeres, God knows what's gonna happen there. Sesko, nobody knows what's gonna happen there. Winger talks are pretty much non-existent. Let's be real, because everyone is waiting on Rodrigo, but that's gonna happen after the Club World Cup. Like, nothing. Absolute nothingness. Emptiness. Just dark abyss. Like dark abyss. You're staring in the abyss and just disappear. You stare into nothingness. That's what's worrying. And the worst part is, the longer you stare in that nothingness, in that darkness, right? It starts to consume you. And that's what is worrying. I'm trying so hard not to allow it to consume me. And it's really hard, I'm not gonna lie. You may think it has because I'm calling out manager, players, and everything. I sound toxic and negative. But I come from the days when we were winning Premier League, Cup doubles, FA Cups on quite consistent basis. I've been also through Wenger's 9-year trophy drought, which, by the way, we are more than halfway through already. And after 750 million spent, there should be no excuses. That's what is worrying. That's what's scary about this. But there genuinely still are excuses. Anyways, let's look at this. Because finally it looks like the penny has dropped regarding Fabio Vieira. Porto won't meet Arsenal's £34 million valuation for Fabio Vieira, despite the interest post-loan. He will play in the Club World Cup with Porto, obviously, but skip Arsenal's 25 preseason, which is very, very interesting because he shouldn't. Obviously, Club World Cup drags out till like mid-July. Basically, once the Club World Cup ends, exactly 1 week later, Arsenal are playing the first preseason game in Singapore, right? So basically, that is that. But it looks like Arsenal, like Fabio Vieira, there is something to it. I think Fabio Vieira might get sold very, very soon. I think. Will he? That is a different story. I'm not gonna lie. That is a very, very different story. Who knows? Like, genuinely, who knows? But Fabio Vieira has done nothing at Arsenal. Because for me, the memories of Fabio Vieira are legitimately getting injured, red card against Wolves, and scoring a long shot against Brentford. Those are only 3 things I remember about Fabio Vieira at Arsenal. That's about it. Like, Odegaard's replacement for future, give over. How can Arsenal go to Portugal and instead of Vitinha, sign Fabio Vieira for pretty much the same amount? How can Arsenal go to Portugal and instead of Nuno Mendes, they sign Nuno Tavares? How? Can someone explain me this? How can our talent ID be this crap at the end of the day that we actually cannot recognize even the simplest of talents at the end of the day? How? Where does that make any sense whatsoever? Like, the more you think about Arsenal, the more you look at things, how they get done, the more you look how things develop. They raise more questions than they give answers. And that's what's very worrying regarding Arsenal. If you have more questions than answers, it genuinely means that you are in deep, deep, deep trouble. And that is very, very concerning if you are an Arsenal fan. Very concerning. And the last one for today is this. I wonder, anyone has heard of this guy? Because I know I can watch Bundesliga. I watch on occasion, well, quite a bit, to be honest. I'm not even on occasion. But this guy apparently is linked with Arsenal. Antonio Nuss from RB Leipzig, a left winger, by the way, from Norway. Apparently, there are about 20-year-old winger. Arsenal could be ready to take a punt on it and everything. As always, a youth project, trust the process, and all this useless stuff that gets sorry, that gets peddled out for us every that gets peddled out for us every single time. But why we are looking at these guys? I kind of get why, but another 20-year-old, another for the future, another needs time to develop. Nobody knows whether he's going to be good or not. And what's even more worrying about him, first things first, is the price tag, 45 million. Chelsea and Newcastle are also interested. But he's quite injury prone. So why are we looking at injury prone players? Have we learned nothing from the previous experiences? Like, we sign actually quite durable players and we make them injury prone. Or when we sign injury prone players, they consistently get injured. So why would we sign another injury prone player? Like, where does that make sense? Like, people say he's a bright talent, bright prospect and everything, but 45 million? Surely you can find and sign somebody better. Surely. I haven't watched much of him. Well, I have watched a lot of Leipzig, but I just haven't paid attention to him. He has had some brilliant moments for Leipzig, for Norway, but overall, let's be real. We don't need project players that will be good in 3-4 years. I get that you need to build for future, but we have that. Max Dauman, Skelly, Banieri, and all these guys, right? And why the academy is for us in the first place then? We need some win now type of players. Win now, big names, big situations, big winners, and everything. And Arsenal are trying to shy away from that as far as possible. Because the longer we don't sign these type of players, the less accountability will be there. Because all the time there will be, oh, give him time. Oh, in few years he will become good and all this stuff. It buys more time for the club, for the manager, for the owners, and everything. Like, it's actually insane. It's actually kind of insane. Sometimes feel like Arsenal just are a pyramid scheme or some Ponzi scheme or something like that. Because beside, like, what are we doing here? Like, serious talk. What the hell are we doing here every single year? I don't know. Genuinely don't know. Like, that is actually kind of nuts if you ask me. Some random news for today, if you want to laugh a bit. As we all know, Odegaard is missing. We all know that. Odegaard has been missing for at least a year. Turns out Haaland is trying to find him for us, by the looks of things. He has actually found a milk carton with Haaland, with Odegaard on it. Apparently, in Norway, they are selling milk cartons with Martin Odegaard's picture on it. I don't know what to say and what to think about this, but holy goddamn Moses. Like, what? I don't even know what to say about this. I know that he's been missing, he's not playing for us, Ghost Guard and everything, but holy crap. Like, serious talk, holy mother of God. What the hell is this? Anyways. Anyhow, this is on what we're gonna end today's stream. Seriously. On this note, we're gonna end today's stream. Give me a sec. This. Because this is everything I can imagine regarding Arsenal. This is what I only can imagine Arsenal. Praying and begging for them to do something. Because, let's be real, we have done nothing. Nada. Nil. Zip. Zero. Absolute zero. Will we do something? Will we? That is the question for the ages. I was hoping today we will get some positive news from Arsenal, but it doesn't look like we are going to, unfortunately. It doesn't look like we are going to, which is quite frustrating, which is pissing me off to the maximum extent. But hey, I guess it is what it is. that basically comes with territory of being an Arsenal fan by the looks of things. It's a very sad note to end today's stream on, but hey, I guess it is what it is. So yeah, I don't know what to say even. All I'm gonna say for today is thank you guys so much for being here for my eulogy, rant, sad notes, and everything. Talking about transfers, about what's pissing me off about Arsenal. If you haven't already, please do me a favor and like the stream. Hit that thumbs up. Subscribe if you're new around here. I'm not gonna be live tomorrow because my missus is having a birthday, so we're gonna celebrate that. I'm gonna try and push out a video. Whether what I will push out, I have no idea because TikTok and that is gonna be there 100%. You can count on that. Whether it's gonna be a video or something like that, maybe it's gonna be a video in the next morning and then stream in the Sunday afternoon, in the evening. We'll have to wait and see. But besides that, so far I haven't decided. Time only will tell. But besides that, go check out my TikTok. Go check out my YouTube short I uploaded today. Have a nice evening. Have a nice day tomorrow. Enjoy your time off because it's Saturday and Sunday. Hopefully you get some rest. And hopefully at some point Arsenal actually managed to do something because so far it's looking scarier by the hour. So yeah, take care, stay safe, and see you very, very soon. Peace.